Hey everybody, it's Ricardo Gorski, the founder of Tax.One, where we help individuals and businesses pay as little tax as legally possible. And in this video, I'm going to talk about why I recently incorporated a Dubai company, why I applied for the Emirates ID, and for that, I actually prepared some notes on my iPad here. So let's jump right into that. And I prepared a quick answer, a short answer. So let's start with that. Okay, so I actually always wanted to go to Dubai. One, on a private point of view, where I just wanted to see the Burj Khalifa, all the people there, the cars there, and just see what the hype is all about. But on the other hand, I also always wanted to expand my business. I recently went to Thailand. I found out this is not really for me, so I went to Dubai. And there I just decided that, yes, in Dubai, I can really see that I can have a second leg there. In Germany, we say ein zweites Standbein. And this actually leads to the fact that I will then travel much more often, because the past 5-6 years I've been in Cyprus. I built my business here. I built a presence here, but I'm still young. I mean, I'm 26 years old and I still want to see a little bit more from the world. Here in Cyprus, of course, it will stay my home country, my main base, my residence. But having my business expanding into the UAE jurisdiction just makes sense from a lot of different points. And that actually leads to the first point, which is I applied for the Emirates ID because then I'm kinda forced to actually visit the UAE, because my visa requires me to visit the UAE at least once every 12 months. There are also other visas where you have to visit the UAE every 6 months, but because I'm a partner, my occupation is a partner of my company in Dubai, I have to go there at least once a year, which will then basically upgrade not just my lifestyle, because when I spend, let's say, January and February in the UAE, it will also increase and upgrade my network, because I started in Germany as a freelancer, so to say. I was a little upcoming entrepreneur and I kind of felt that everything is limiting my growth in Germany. From a bureaucratic stand of view, where it was just super hard to incorporate a company and all the legal services were super expensive, especially as a starting entrepreneur. Then also from a mindset point of view, in my hometown in Germany, Bad Kreuznach, I didn't have any like-minded people, so I basically left Germany in 2019. I then relocated to Bali and then to Cyprus, where I finally achieved like a business focus. I was surrounded by other upcoming entrepreneurs. I had lifestyle freedom and just everything was much more simple in Cyprus. I basically grew from level 1, so to say, to level 5 or 6. But now when I want to reach level 9 or 10, I kind of feel that I have to expand even further from Cyprus. And especially if I want to reach the top of the world, literally, like the tallest building in the world is located in Dubai, I have to expand even further. And this doesn't mean that I will leave Cyprus. Don't get me wrong. It just means that I will partially spend time in Dubai. And now one more very important note before we will talk about taxes is that I went to Dubai recently and I just loved the energy there. Here in Cyprus, for example, I feel amazing. I spend most of my time here in my home office and I get shit done. I just drink my coffee, so to say, and I hustle. But when I see the actual mentality of the people here in Cyprus and then compare it to Dubai, it's just two different worlds. For example, construction sites. In Dubai, the people there just work 24/7. The energy is always like faster, better, bigger, like this hungry testosterone energy. It's like very, very interesting to see. But then when we compare it here to Cyprus, it is like literally siga siga. The people here, they drink coffee, they chill, they want to have a relaxed, laid-back lifestyle, Mediterranean, day-to-day life, basically. And with that in mind, I just love to have like this hybrid model where I have a little bit of both. I will probably keep spending 70% of my time a year here in Cyprus, 20% in Dubai, and then 10% I will keep traveling. I will definitely not spend more than 2 months in any other country as I did in Thailand. This was just too much out of routine, not for me. but I will spend a week here and there, some European countries, Warsaw, maybe Lisbon, Portugal, maybe even South Africa, Cape Town. I will definitely also go for a 2-week trip to Southeast Asia, maybe again to Bali, maybe Philippines, whatever, but this will not be more than 10-15% a year. So with these lifestyle aspects in mind, let's talk about the next point, which is taxes. Obviously a huge factor for me and a lot of other entrepreneurs relocating to Dubai or incorporating a company there. And as you can see, the Dubai corporate tax is still 0% until the end of 2024 for small businesses. So companies generating less than 3 million dirhams per year. This is called the Small Business Relief, or also SBR. And that basically means that if you generate around 750 euros or less with your UAE company, you still don't have to pay corporate tax, which is obviously still a big amount of money. And then after 2026, maybe still some other exemptions will be added and applied. So we will see what's going to happen in the future here. Then also, second point, 0% income tax for residents residing in the UAE for at least 183 days, which is not for me at the moment, but theoretically, if I were to relocate to Dubai and spend more than 6 months in the country there, then I'm also eligible for 0% income tax, which is then also implying that there's 0% on my crypto tax gains, which is still unclear here in Cyprus. And I personally have a very big amount of cryptos, 6 figures at the moment. And we still don't know here in Cyprus how the government, how the tax authorities will tax it here. Meaning, if they suddenly out of nowhere decide to tax all crypto gains at 15%, the new crypto tax, whatever, I will definitely consider relocating to the UAE, because 15% is a lot. I'm not saying this is going to happen. It's still possible to also have 0% here in Cyprus if you have the crypto gains under capital gains, which are effectively also 0% here in Cyprus. But a lot of crypto investors actually have a Cyprus company where they trade their cryptos, which means they actually have 12.5% corporate tax on all their profits. And in the very near future, it might be increased to 15%. So that's definitely something that is also interesting to know. If you have crypto, a lot of crypto, it's 0% in the UAE. Also VAT, it's very low there, it's 5%, but theoretically it's 0% on cross-border transactions. So if you have B2C clients within the European Union, you could then issue an invoice that is basically including the VAT as an amount, but at the end of the day, you don't really have to declare the VAT. However, this depends on each specific case, especially regarding the OSS regulations. So this is something where every business should definitely get an individual consultation, and Tax.One obviously assists you with that. But what I'm trying to say is that every net price could be retained as gross revenue if you know what you're doing. Obviously, all of the tax things can go much more into detail, but this is interesting as it is already. And with all that in mind, this obviously raises the question, okay, Rico, why should I even have a Cyprus company in the first place? I mean, I can just pay 0% corporate tax for at least the next 2 years in Dubai. So that raises the question, is this even legal? And I already received quite a few critical comments saying, Rico, but management and control. Rico, but PE rules. Rico, but tax evasion, tax avoidance, whatever. And the first thing that I have to say here is, of course it is legal to own an offshore company anywhere in the world. I mean, even if you invest into a public stock like, let's say, Apple or Starbucks, you theoretically own an offshore company. So owning the company per se is not illegal at all. And then this leads to the next thing, which is it is much, much bigger than just me having an offshore company, because the problem only occurs when it comes to the tax obligations, because only the Cyprus tax authorities would have a problem with that setup if I would be the only shareholder in the company, having a Dubai company and not having any substance in the UAE. The double tax treaty between the UAE and Cyprus says your income is taxed where effective management is being taken place. Meaning, if I were to control the company and do day-to-day decisions from Cyprus here, then the UAE company, even though it is registered in the UAE jurisdiction, would be liable for Cyprus taxes, so to say, the 12.5%. There's also a 0% withholding tax. This is the whole point of a double tax treaty. So you're not taxed in both jurisdictions, but only in one. And that one is where you are liable for taxation. However, it is, as I said, much, much bigger than just me having an offshore company. It is not like that. I don't even own 100% of the shares of that UAE company. That is point number one. Point number two, the director of the UAE company is a UAE resident who spends more than 6 months per year in the country. He has access to all the bank accounts. He and us are basically controlling the company together, and he has the last word. We do board meetings in the UAE multiple times a year. We have an office in the UAE. Accounting is taking place in the UAE. We have banking in the UAE, a mentor, payment facilitators. All of that just leads to the fact that decisions are being made in the UAE, not in Cyprus. Just because I'm here, a tax resident of Cyprus, it is not as black and white as saying that's basically the reason why he's controlling the company in the UAE. And as you can see, there are so many ways to prove that management and control is being taken place in the UAE. And there is no real guideline or playbook of how the tax authorities will actually figure out or decide where management and control is being taken place. This is basically what your tax advisors are doing for and with you. This leads to the next point, which is the main question is actually, will the Cyprus tax authorities even challenge or question that in the first place? And here I wrote down, I personally doubt it. With Tax.One, we incorporated hundreds of companies here in Cyprus. We still do their ongoing management, accounting, etc. And many of our clients have offshore companies, which again is 100% legal. But a lot of them have much more shady setups, not just our clients, just in general. It's a general practice to have a company in Hong Kong, for example, territorial tax. They never even visited Hong Kong in the first place. And then territorial tax, only income that is generated within Hong Kong is taxed there. Quote unquote, US LLCs, 0% corporate tax. You just shift your dividends or your income as pass through to you as a natural person. BVI, Panama, all of those things, they are much more shady because a lot of the people that have these setups don't even visit those countries in the first place. And then if the Cyprus tax authorities really want to be German, then they would rather go to Hong Kong where they know that there is absolutely zero substance in the first place of the actual decision takers. But for me, man, I've been in Dubai 2 weeks ago. I just booked my flight again to go to the UAE. I have my business partners there. I have all of the things that I just discussed. So what kind of person can question me not having business in the UAE? I'm literally doing this video right now. Even that would be substance that I need that Dubai company and that I'm doing business in the UAE. So it is a little bit unclear, but this is what tax business is all about. It is unclear. It is all about who can talk better, what lawyer is better, so to say. But this is part of the business, and I doubt that this will improve in the future. It will always be just party A and party B, one of them trying to claim A and the other party is trying to claim B. But that's basically it. You can definitely join me on my journey of having this setup right now. Either we end up tax-free or we end up in jail, whatever. I don't care at this point. I'm 100% certain with my actions and I stand by them with my name. And I'm even sharing them online. Like for you, having this UAE company and doing the same as I do is much less risky than me talking online about it. 0% taxes. But yeah. Being a public person or being online active, let's say, comes with its pros, but also with its disadvantages. And that's why I also wrote down the pros and cons of having a UAE company or being present in the UAE. And I'm going over them right now. Obviously, lower taxes, potentially even 0% tax for the next 2 years. However, I wrote a question mark there because if you want to be literal and like, again, German, then you could argue that the YESI, the health care contribution here in Cyprus, still applies on the dividends that I will receive as a natural person from my UAE entity, which means 2.65%. However, This is the total taxation for all the dividend income that I will receive per tax calendar year. I will still receive dividends, and I will also, by the way, still operate under my Cyprus entities. I have 2 Cyprus companies, and the cap here for the contribution to the healthcare system is 4,770 euros per year. So let's say I receive 100,000 in dividends from my Cyprus company, and then even if I receive another 100,000 from my UAE company, only 80,000 will be taxed under this 2.65%, because 180,000 euros in dividends is equivalent to the 4,770 euros in actual contribution in euro terms that you will pay. If this sounds too complicated, then I'm sorry. You can book an individual consultation call under Tax.One, and then we will explain it to you in a one-by-one consultation call. Pro number 1 is that I have a new permanent residency, a PR card, this beautiful Emirates ID outside the UAE, which is always a good backup plan in my eyes, just as having a company outside the EU for some regulatory factors, like let's say you're not under EU law, which definitely is interesting for a few businesses and a few industries. Banking outside of the EU, this just leads to the fact that I'm now basically taking advantage of the flag theory. I have a residency in Cyprus, I have a citizenship in Germany, in Poland. Soon when I marry my girlfriend, I have a British and Irish citizenship. I'm also in the process of applying for the Cyprus citizenship, also for a citizenship by investment. I have banking in Cyprus, in Dubai now, in Abu Dhabi soon, in Latvia, obviously with the neobanks, Singapore, Switzerland. All of those things just gives you security and freedom, and minimizes a black swan event where you could just lose everything at once, just as it happened here in Cyprus not long ago actually. Pro number 6 is upgraded lifestyle and network. It was really amazing to have this amazing energy and culture, and I'm already looking forward to going to the UAE again for a certain period of time. As I said, I think I will spend like January and February in the UAE every year, but also during summer I will visit a few events. Like just recently they held the Token 2049 conference, like the biggest crypto or one of the biggest crypto conferences. All of those events and meetups and masterminds, they are all in Dubai. It's amazing. We are just getting started here in Cyprus, but all of the big players, all of the badass boys are already in the UAE, and the UAE in general has an improved reputation. Quite a few years ago, I didn't feel comfortable going to the UAE. It was labeled as the tax haven. They were penalized by the EU, by the UK, by the US, because they were basically just this one spot where everyone went to, and everyone was losing their millionaires, multimillionaires, billionaires because of the UAE. And so they started graylisting and even blacklisting the UAE temporarily. But this is actually not the case anymore. I still don't feel 100% certain and safe in the UAE and bunkering a lot of money there, just because they did some shady things like accepting a lot of sanctioned money, and that's a whole topic for another video, but they definitely improved their reputation. Now the cons, it's basically just one con with 7 subtopics, which is everything is super expensive. The incorporation costs and the 2 visas that we basically did with my business partner, because he didn't have a visa as well, was 24,650 dirhams, which is around 6,000 euros to the today's conversion. And I thought, okay, that's it, because under Tax.One, we give one offer to our clients and then they don't have to pay anything for 12 months. But then what happened? At the actual EID application, we had to pay another 500 dirhams per person. The medical check was 1,000 dirhams per person. And the shady or the sneaky thing they did here was they actually wrote down medical check in the offer, in the quote, but then it was like in brackets, paid to the government. And what does this mean? I thought that we pay them and they pay the government, but no, we actually had to pay it to the facilitator, to the service provider, the actual medical check point. So that was a little bit sneaky. At Tax.One, we never do things like that. But anyway, then the corporate tax registration. How should I know that I have to do it separately? I thought they give us one offer and they just do everything. That's actually the thing I hate with service providers, even here in Cyprus. They give you a quote. Company in Cyprus, my friend, is 1,000 euros. But then what else? VAT registration, memorandum, articles of association, all kinds of filings, going to the government and applications and whatever. You get the point. It's like a little bit sneaky because as an entrepreneur, you don't know those things. You're not a lawyer or an accountant. So when they just take advantage of you, this is something that I can't stand behind. That is why at Tax.One, we always just give fair, transparent offers where you as an entrepreneur don't have to worry that there are hidden costs. You can just focus on your business and we take care of all those things that you don't want to take care of. Next is the VAT registration. We didn't do it yet just because I'm convinced that we don't have to do the VAT registration because we have B2C clients, but I need to double check on that and keep you updated. Next one is accounting. The current quote that we received, the annual costs are 10,500 AED, but now I don't trust them anymore. That is why I'm currently building my own network in the UAE. I just talked to a few partners there. We had some interviews. I made some connections so that I do my own infrastructure in the UAE so that we can offer the same amazing service that we are currently offering here in Cyprus. So if you are interested in relocating to Dubai, we already have an application form at our website, Tax.One, but we are still in the process of making it perfect. Now, I already saw that VAT filings, payroll services, and the auditing costs are not included in that offer, in that annual offer. But I will keep you updated on how much I will pay for that. And then also like smaller expenses, SIM cards, super expensive. I need a SIM card for everything in the UAE, like for bank account opening and for all the things there, which comes with monthly 6 months or 12 months plans, which is around, let's say, 30 euros per month. For the fact that I don't spend a lot of time in the UAE and I will never really use the data and the minutes and all that. It's all right. If you go to Dubai, by the way, you're not a small fish. You have to be someone making substantial amount of money. I would say at the very least 120k yearly profits, better 240k. So 10, 20k per month. If you make less than that, I don't think you have to do anything in the UAE. The management and the overhead costs will just eat you alive. Literally, to receive my EID card here with this mail, because the process to issue the EID, this document, took a few days. I already left the UAE. Anyway, I paid 80 euros to get this little mail. Like, what? For 80 euros, I can shift my whole office setup from Cyprus to Germany. That was obviously for the cost that someone in the UAE went to the mail and put this into the box. So yeah, in the UAE, you definitely get everything, all kinds of activities and services, and people come to your home and they massage you and all of that. And it's amazing, but you need to have money for that. So that about my notes for the iPad, and let's talk about the conclusion. My thinking is the following. Yes, I do have expensive setup costs, management costs, ongoing costs, expenses here and there. I will also travel there, which is not very cheap. Just the kebab there is more expensive than having a 3-meal course here in Cyprus, Airbnb, all of that. Yes, but again, if you go to Dubai, you shouldn't worry about the costs. Dubai is for scaling your business, scaling your network, and you can only justify if the actual revenue and the tax savings that you will make are by far higher than the costs that you have. Why would I worry about the 80 euros if I now can theoretically pay 0% tax for the next 2 years? And this new business that we are incorporating makes substantial amount of revenue. So I shouldn't even worry about these 80 euros. But I know a lot of people do. So this is why I'm making this video, to just transparently tell you all things that are on my mind. In general, after being in Dubai and going through the process myself and just seeing everything with my own eyes, I would say that Dubai is not as bad as I thought. I made quite some videos where I said that I don't really like Dubai and all of that, and those arguments are still valid. But there are also arguments on the other hand that just make me FOMO, basically, like seeing all of the companies and business people and investors going to the UAE and making all those amazing projects. They have the tallest building. They are now building Disneyland. They have the Dubai Loop, which is going to be the biggest bicycle thing for cyclists in the UAE. They will even outrun Copenhagen and Denmark and Amsterdam, being a better city for cycling in the desert. Unbelievable. Anyway, Bugatti Tower, Ritz-Carlton Tower, Lamborghini Tower, you get the point. All of that just showed me, wait, what's going on there? Like, I'm here in Cyprus sipping on my Freddo espresso and they do all of this amazing shit. I want to be a part of it. So this is the reason why I still decided that I will go to the UAE. I expand my network and my services with Tax.One to the UAE. And even though it is super expensive, I think there is definitely a clientele that is still interested in the UAE. Even me, I'm interested for certain bits in the UAE. So why not going there? Why not being open-minded? I mean, that's the whole point of being an entrepreneur. At the time being, as you learned in this video, it is still possible to have 0% corporate tax in the UAE until the end of 2026. And if you're interested in a setup that is similar to me, or if you're even interested in relocating to Dubai, then you can definitely reach out to us on Tax.One. The city is definitely amazing. I mean, you can just walk past Leonardo DiCaprio or The Rock randomly on a Tuesday evening, or not even famous people, just like big ballers, like worth hundreds of millions of euros, and you would never guess they just sit at the same cafe or restaurant as you are. And I could continue endlessly. I will definitely make more videos about that, also specifically comparing Cyprus and Dubai from a lifestyle and business and tax point of view. So if you subscribe to the channel, I will see you in the next video, and thanks for listening.